All right, welcome back, everybody. 22 minutes before 7 here on Morning Live. So earlier, the earlier decision of the Correctional Services Parole Board to release Oscar Pistorius on correctional supervision has been suspended by the Minister of Justice and Correctional Services, and the matter has now been referred to the Parole Review Board. Now, this came after the Minister received a petition from the Progressive Women's Movement of South Africa this past Monday, wherein they expressed their opposition to the imminent release of Pistorius. To talk a little bit more about this, we're actually joined by the Minister himself, Michael Masutha, to shed a little bit more light on his decision with us. Minister, thank you very, very much for joining us and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Leanne, and greetings to the viewers.
Okay. Minister, your decision, obviously your decision to do this, to delay the release and to refer this to the Parole Review Board was largely based on the fact that you felt the decision was taken too early and not at the mark that it should have been. That's the 10-month mark. Why only now? Surely you've known this for a while, since the 6th of June.
Leanne, the decisions of parole boards in matters of this nature are final, ordinarily, and I normally do not have to tamper with them, and neither do I have to look into them, scrutinize them. There isn't a procedure whereby I have to review every single decision, because there's thousands of decisions that get made on a daily basis by some about approximately 53 parole boards throughout the country. It's only when matters are brought before me that I have the opportunity to consider them. And of course, I don't really go around looking at papers and checking based on reports in the media and so on. It's only when a matter is brought properly before me and the law empowers me or requires me to consider the matter that I get to deal with it.
Okay, so people that are saying that you have fallen into the pressure from the South African public for the fact that it's Women's Month and all of those issues, and that petition that was brought to you by this women's group, this is not necessarily the reason behind your decision.
Well, except the latter, because the women's group formally wrote to me raising the concern that they raised. Well, I rejected their request that I review the decision, because I actually do not have the power to review. I only have the power to refer a matter to the Parole Review Board. And secondly, I rejected the grounds on which they wanted me to review the matter, namely that it would be insensitive given the fact that we're in Women's Month, and I said there is no legal basis to review a decision of this nature on those grounds. However, upon perusing the application in full, I came to notice that, and that was looking at the profile itself, the decision of the parole board and the time when the decision was taken against the background of what the law actually says. I came to realize that actually the parole board erred, because they took a decision prematurely in contravention of the clear provisions of the Act.
Okay, so this now, of course, has been referred to the Correctional Supervision and Parole Review Board. Now, this particular board doesn't meet very often. It generally meets only every few months. So this process could take a few months, actually. As far as you know, how long could the process actually take?
Well, the Review Board is headed by 3 judges, one of whom chairs it. So it's really entirely up to them to schedule their meetings within a reasonable time, of course, and dispose of the matter as soon as they're able to do so. I do not determine the frequency and the occasion when they should come together.
There's obviously huge speculation. We haven't heard from the legal team of Oscar Pistorius at this point. They're not commenting. When they were tried to be contacted to comment, they said that they were in legal meetings. Have you heard from them at all? Have they decided to take legal action from their side that you're aware of?
No, all we did was to formally communicate the decision to them yesterday, as much as we did to the NGO that wrote to us. We have also communicated the decision to the department, as well as the communication is underway to the parole board that took the decision, just to inform them of the decision we have taken.
Okay, so no word from them as yet. I imagine today there should be something, because he was up for parole tomorrow, that being the 21st of August. Is there a chance, if you could inform us on how the legal system works, is there a chance that Oscar Pistorius could still be released tomorrow if his legal team takes this matter to court?
Look, courts are entitled to review our decisions, our executive decisions, if they do not find rationality in the decisions that we've taken. And of course, if a court decides otherwise, it's really up to the court to do so. And of course, we have the option, if the court decides in a particular way, to either accept the decision of the court or to appeal it. So everyone has a right to have their dispute brought before a court if they're not happy with our decision.
Now, I know that there are calls, and one of the organizations is the ANC Womens League that is calling again. We all know this is such an emotional issue. Many are asking for him to stay in prison during the appeal sentence as well, and that is scheduled to take place in a date in November. We don't know what the date is as yet. Again, you know, these calls and this anger from South African communities and different groups, does this have any say in the justice system?
Absolutely not. We only look at the law and what it obliges us to do. If cogent reasons are brought to our attention which have merit in law, that we would take into consideration. Other than that, we do not take decisions on any other basis.
There's been a lot of issues that were raised during the Oscar trial, and again, just pointing to some of the inadequacies, both in the policing system, in the justice system, in a lot of things when this was brought under the spotlight, and not only the local spotlight, the international spotlight. This again, another issue and another gaping hole, that he was granted parole at least 2-3 months before he was even, the decision was made before he was up for this parole. You know, this is a high-profile case, and these things are brought to you. But one can only naturally ask how many people are let out on parole, and the same applies to them. Has this taught you a lesson?
Actually, this is not a new situation. Since my appointment, noting that I deal with at least 10% of parole applications which relate to inmates serving life sentences, I can tell you that I reject a significantly large percentage of the applications that are brought to my attention for various reasons. I am trying to inculcate a culture within the department not to cut corners, to adhere to the prescripts of the law, and to ensure that all the conditions that are prescribed are actually complied with. And I have further taken steps to ensure that the administration of parole and case management, so to speak, in correctional services is streamlined, is jacked up, so that administratively we do not find our offenders unfairly and unduly prejudiced as a result of delay caused by administrative inefficiencies on our part. So certainly this is one of many parole applications that have been affected. The only difference is that this case does not involve life imprisonment. So ordinarily it wouldn't have reached my desk, save for the fact that the matter was brought to my attention in the manner that it was.
Just in terms of looking at the actual Parole Review Board, I know that you were saying that there are judges that sit on this. Who is eligible to actually be on this board?
The Act provides for me to appoint what is called a National Council for Correctional Services. That council, when it considers a matter on review of this nature, the same body sits as the Parole Review Board. It does other work. For example, it is that body that recommends to me the placement on parole of offenders who are serving life, who would have in turn have been recommended by the various parole boards. In other words, the parole board's decision on all other matters are final, except for matters relating to offenders serving life, in which case their applications go to the same body, the NCCS, who in turn refer the matter to my office for decision.
All right, let's leave it there for now. I think giving us a lot of explanation behind the decision to suspend the release of Oscar Pistorius. This was due to happen tomorrow, but for reasons that the Minister has now given, this is going to go through a parole board and this is going to be reviewed. But obviously we still do need to hear from Oscar Pistorius' legal team to see what action they do take. Minister, thank you very much for joining us here on the programme.
You're welcome, and thank you for the opportunity.
That's an absolute pleasure. That was Michael Masutha, of course, our minister here in South Africa when it comes to looking at everything that has to do with the law. All right, let's take a break.